So this is super easy. You just basically put everything into your bowl, toss it with your dressing, which today I'm just using lemon juice, but you can also use balsamic vinegar, or if you have a favorite dressing, you can use that as well. But this is just so easy. I've not cut a few things yet, and I'll show you how I cut those, but I did get certain things ready. So let me go in order here. 2 cups chopped tomatoes, and 2 cups cucumber. And this is one of those English cucumbers, and I just peeled it down the side, leaving a little of the dark because it looks pretty. And then I just cut them a little bit on an angle, but you can cut them any way that you want. These are cherry tomatoes, organic, that I just cut in half. You can use a regular tomato and just chop it up. It'll make your salad a little more wet, I think. I like the cherry tomatoes because it's not so wet. 1 box of kidney beans, no salt added, drained and rinsed. Especially for a salad, you want to drain and rinse your beans. Sometimes people will ask me, well, do I really need to drain and rinse my beans if they're from a can or a box? Yes, you do if you're going to make a salad like this that isn't supposed to be wet. If you're adding it to a soup or a stew that's already wet, then you can leave the liquid in that comes with the beans. I've just gotten into the habit of draining and rinsing mine all the time. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just put everything in here. And what am I looking for? I am looking for, let's see. The reason I came up with this salad is, well, I'm kind of at the point of like, what recipes don't I have yet? So, and I didn't have a Mediterranean salad, and I get kind of tired of just green salads all the time. So I like to, for myself, and offer to you guys something a little different in the salad department. And one of the characteristics of a Mediterranean salad is an olive oil dressing and also feta cheese in there. So we're going to leave the olive oil out and just use the lemon juice or balsamic vinegar. And I'll show you what we're going to do instead of the feta here in a second. Okay, so we're going to add to this 2 cups of baby spinach leaves. If you can only find the big spinach leaves, just give them some chops. And then also I wanted to mention, these have their stems on them, and if the stems look fine, I just leave them on. If I'm, having people over and I want the look of no stems, I'll go through and I'll just take off all of the stems, or if the stems are looking a little, not so great, I will take them off. But if they look fine, I just leave them on. Just leave them on. The package said baby spinach leaves. These aren't very baby, but I guess spinach leaves do come really big as well. That is a really big stem. Let me take that one off. And you can just, look through quickly and take a few off if any are looking too big. Okay. So there's our 2 cups. Oh, and I didn't chop it. My recipe says to chop it. I didn't chop it. I think it's fine. All right. Our beans are in there. We're going to add some cauliflower next. So the cauliflower is in place of the feta cheese. Move this to the side. So we're going for about a cup of cauliflower. Now, of course, cauliflower does not taste like feta cheese, but it kind of looks like feta cheese. And that's half the battle, looking at it, especially if we're replicating a recipe that's very familiar. We want it to look like what we're used to. It just makes the whole experience easier and more enjoyable. So I've already done almost a cup here, but I wanted to show you how I did that. So with your cauliflower, you just break off one of the little florets here. And then you don't want to use your knife. You just want to pick the little sections off, because you don't want it to look cut. You want it to look like little crumbles of feta cheese. You can cut these smaller. You can also give these a little bit of a steam if you want. So when I get to this point, I will cut that stem off because I don't want the stems in there. Okay. Whoop. We want it to look crumbly. There we go. And if I kind of end up with this funky looking stem, I will cut it off. And then any parts that you cut off, you can just use for something else later. Put it in your vegetable stock bag. So that's how you do the cauliflower. And I just had an idea. I'm going to keep a little bit of this out so I can put some on top to make it look pretty. Because something tells me that these little cauliflower pieces, when I toss this out, they're going to fall to the bottom. Okay. So I am going to add this in. And if you see any pieces that are just too big, just break them apart. Because really that feta is usually pretty small. But again, if you don't like raw cauliflower, just give it a little steam in the microwave or on the stovetop or whatever works for you, or a little, throw them in boiling water for, less than a minute maybe. Alrighty, so add an avocado. This is totally optional. If you're trying to watch your calories, you might want to leave the avocado out, or if you're going to eat this over a couple days, you might want to just add the avocado as you're eating it. It's always a surprise when you open an avocado what you're going to get. This is unusual. Usually I'll get a brown spot on one side, but this is in all four corners and the bottom. I think I have another avocado, but I don't know if it's as, let's check this one out. I don't know if it's as ripe. It feels okay. Much better. I mean, I'll still eat this one, but I don't want those brown spots in my salad. All right. So the way I cut my avocado is I put it on the cutting board and just use the tip of my chef's knife to go across, and then turn it and go the other way. If you want bigger chunks, by all means, make bigger chunks. But I like kind of the small chunks. And then we're going to add that. There's no fat in this salad or the dressing, so the avocado just adds a little bit of richness that is nice. All right, so I usually just poke out my pit with the tip of my knife. Some people like to do this and then twist it, but I'm never so good at that. I'm just not. So I just do it this way. And if it doesn't come out this way, I will cut this in half and then take the pit out. If you're serving this salad to guests, you could plate the salad and then put a slice of avocado on the top as well. That would work. Or put all the little chunks of avocado in a little bowl and then people can add it if they want. I love options. Okay. Let's continue. We are going to put in a tablespoon of dried Italian herbs. Now this is something that I don't, well, sometimes people will put these in the salad dressing, but I like to just add them to my salad. They just kind of give a little pop, that little dry piece of seasoning. And again, I'm using the Italian herbs salt-free, which is oregano, thyme, basil, and I think rosemary, marjoram. I use a lot of this, that's why I buy this huge bag. All right, and then as I said before, I'm going to do a little bit of lemon juice for the dressing, because when you're doing a Mediterranean salad, you want it to just be light and fresh, and you want to be able to taste all these ingredients without a heavy dressing. But if you want to add your favorite heavy dressing, go right on ahead. It's up to you. So sometimes I will do the lemon juice, sometimes I'll do lime juice, Sometimes I'll do balsamic vinegar, plain or a flavored balsamic vinegar. And then I'm going to put some parsley in here. Yes, I'm just double checking. And I know I'm jumping around. I'm going to do the onion last. Okay, so this is the parsley. And again, I did not chop it. I don't know why. So parsley is very traditional with a Mediterranean salad, but if you want to add some basil, go right on ahead. Okay. So again, I've just coarsely chopped that. I want to be able to taste those little parsley pieces, so I don't want to make them too small. Okay. I do tend to use Italian parsley a lot instead of the curly parsley, but you can use the curly parsley if that's... I'm going to add to the salad is a little bit of onion. And I didn't cut this yet. Just because I thought sometimes people are interested in how we prepare the vegetables. So red onion is very traditional for Mediterranean salad. If you only have a different kind of onion, you could certainly use that, or some green onions, but red is what you will see most often. So cut the bottom and the top off so you have a nice solid bottom. Cut it in half, and then we're going to remove one or two, usually like two, at least 2 layers, until you get down to this nice bright layer. And how much onion do I say? About a ½ cup. So I don't think I'm going to need this one, so I'm going to move it out of the way. Okay, so we want to get those moons there. So we're going to cut across this way instead of this way. I mean, really, any way would work. But again, we're trying to make it visually exciting. And I like to cut mine pretty thin. Okay. Now, some people... well, most always for Mediterranean salads, you're going to see olives in the recipe, but I tend not to use olives because they're so high in salt. And since I'm an SOS-free, salt, oil, sugar-free chef, I don't do the olives. So you're going to get a lot of salt with olives, and especially like the Kalamata olives will have a lot of oil sometimes. All right, so you can just leave the onions like this, we'll separate them. Or you can give them a little cut in half, which is what I like to do. So you're not getting that big old piece. Okay. That one was probably all right, but whatever. Okay. That's all right. And especially if you're serving other people, which most of us are not nowadays because we're all at home, but we're having people over for dinner or something. We want to make the dish look like what we all are used to seeing when we eat that dish. So that's what I do in my recipes. I take out the things that aren't health promoting. I leave in the vegetables and other things that are health promoting. And works out pretty well. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just keep out a few of these for the garnish, and then I'm going to put the rest of these right on in here. And then if you see any chunks, just separate them out. I don't know if that's quite a ½ cup. Maybe it's less. I don't know. All right, let's go ahead and just toss it out here. Doesn't that cauliflower look cool in there? I mean, you know when you see that, like, oh, that's a Mediterranean salad or a Greek salad or something. I would also maybe add some black pepper to this. All right. Now, if you didn't have kidney beans, you could probably also throw in garbanzo beans. Those would work as well, or any kind of bean. But I think the garbanzo would be more in keeping with the Mediterranean theme. Okay. So isn't that pretty? And then we could we kept a few of these out. Could throw that on top. I mean, that looks like a Mediterranean salad. And then we can put some of these little guys on top to finish it off. I'm so excited for lunch today. Okay. All right. So doesn't that look pretty?